Hello, new parents of FOSSA. It's me, Dave. My credentials are that I have an 11 and a 13-year-old and both still alive. So I remember being a new parent and being very frustrated by how much parenting advice everyone wanted to give me. I think parents need to figure it out on their own. I don't tend to give a lot of parenting advice, but...
All right, so unsolicited parenting advice. Okay, so one, give yourself room to make mistakes. You're gonna screw up. That's okay.
I think the first thing is that I think about when I think of my son is just love, right? And so there's really been no better feeling in my whole life than when seeing my newborn out of the womb. It's a feeling that I couldn't really describe. It was just overfilled with joy, and I'm sure you'll experience the same.
These are the longest, shortest times of your life. The days will feel long. You'll be operating on delirium. But you'll look back and wonder, where did the time go? How did this baby grow up so fast? So really enjoy the moments.
The one thing that I was completely terrified by before having my first kid was the idea of being totally sleep deprived, because I really need sleep. And, I would say that in reality, it was far worse than I had ever expected. But the advice that I got, which I think is true, is that it never gets easier. You just get better. And I try to remember that every time I get woken up at 2 a.m. still 7 years later.
So you got this little brand new baby, and at some point you're like, all right, I need this baby to sleep at night, right? That's all I want at this point. I love this baby so much, but I just need it to be asleep. And you'll see two different schools of thought. You'll see one side that leans towards comfort the baby, co-sleep with it, just, it needs to be close to you to be comfortable and fall asleep. On the other end of the spectrum, you got the cry it out method, which sounds terrible. It's just take your baby and let it cry for a long, long time. But here's what I'll tell you, cry it out works. The first time you do cry it out, you put this baby in the crib and it's crying and you walk away and it's horrible, right? The baby's crying, you feel terrible, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm the worst parent ever. And you just want to go in and comfort it. But if you don't, if you manage to extract yourself, maybe go down to a different room, go into the basement if you have one where you can't hear the baby crying, eventually this baby will fall asleep. It might take 45 minutes, 60, 90, I don't know.
Once you get the first couple of days in and start to figure out your baby's patterns, typically they wake up every 3 to 4 hours and need to eat and need that diaper change, to start to take shifts. So if your wife goes to sleep on the earlier side, for her to feed the baby and hand her off to you and take a rest, and then at that 4-hour marker she gets to sleep through that and you would take over.
And one of the things that sticks out, I think, when I had my daughter Ava, was the pediatrician was the actual person that said, hey, you should get out with the baby, still go about your daily life. So the one thing that we did do is we still took her to restaurants. When they're little, they could sleep. They typically sleep through a lot of things. In addition to that, we made sure that, we weren't quite around when she was taking a nap. So what that helped with is, Ava could sleep through anything. We could take her to a party and she would still sleep.
Where are your babies? This is something that I wasn't aware of, that my wife made me aware of when we had our son. Spend close body time with them, and one of the ways to do that is baby wearing. Ergo makes baby carriers that there's in fact, this can get very expensive if you're not careful. There's a whole subculture of really fancy baby carriers that you either go on the front or on the back, and this is not just for moms. This is certainly something for dads as well.
We started traveling with our kids very early on, and initially it might feel very daunting with the amount of stuff you want to carry, but don't let your kids, the young kids, be an excuse to not travel. I think they're very easygoing.
Try to be consistent in your expectations, both for yourself and your children. Remember, you will never, ever beat a toddler in a battle of wills.
One thing nobody can prepare you for is how it feels to become a parent, and that's just something you have to experience for yourself. I'll say, just let it change you, and be totally open to the experience.
You're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed, and you just have to be okay with that.
You always try to relax and keep your composure and poise and know that everything's going to be okay. Sometimes if you love your child so much, you don't want to see anything bad happen to them. A story to me this weekend is we were out to eat at a restaurant. It was called Four Rivers. It was like a little Texas-style barbecue. And we were just finishing up the meal, going into the car, and my kid tripped and hit his head face first into a brick wall. True story. So obviously that was like, wow, I hope he's okay. And, it was scary to see all of that, but everything's okay. They're gonna fall. They're gonna have a bump and a bruise, and these things happen. And when those do, just stay calm and know that you're doing great.
One metaphor that I like to use about watching your kids grow up is like meeting new people at summer camp. And you at summer camp, you have like a really great time with these people that you've just met, and you have a whole week with them, and then you like leave summer camp, and then you never see these people again for the rest of your life. And the different stages of your kids, especially as they're really young, is kind of like that, where you'll meet this baby for a very short amount of time, and then they'll grow up and become a toddler, and you'll never see that baby again. And so I often use that to remind myself to stay present with my kids and appreciate them for at the stage that they're at right now. Just knowing that might be, very soon, I'll never sort of experience the stage with them again. That's probably more encouraging than my last one.
Get the right car seat. And you are not qualified to install it yourself, no matter what you tell yourself. I certainly thought that, and I'm not qualified to do it. My wife barely became qualified after she had worked with a car seat tech for a number of years, and she can do it in rental cars and all kinds of other situations now. But first responders usually have a free service where they'll come, either your local police department or firefighters, where you can take your car in the car seat, and they will make sure it's properly installed on your behalf.
I feel like I just gave birth like yesterday, but my daughter's 9, and it's crazy to see how fast time flew by. Take time to play with your kids, make those core memories with them. And have a lot of patience. That's the one thing that being a parent has definitely taught me, is to be patient.
Own diaper duty. Own it. Every time the baby needs a diaper change, which is all the time, to have that moment together with you, making silly faces at your baby, and being able to take some of that burden off your wife.
Be good to your partner. Your wife or your partner is going to play a major role in all of this, and you two are part of a team. And so view it as such. There's going to be things you're better at, and there's going to be things your partner's better at, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be an expert in everything. And it's also totally okay to say, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to rely on you to do this. And to handle it that way.
Enjoy the ride and the adventure. It is a long, difficult, painful at times adventure, but the high moments, the times where this baby shows you affection and laughs, and the joy you'll see are unmatched. I hope you get those moments. I hope you appreciate them, and I hope you have just like a really exciting, fun parenting adventure. It goes for a long time, and so buckle in, and good luck.
Just be really generous with your time and your attention, and try to find every opportunity to laugh. And then I think if you do those things, you'll find that you've done a pretty decent job and raised a pretty decent person.
Wish you all the best. They say that it takes a village to raise a kid, and certainly, at least I felt that was true in my case. If there's anything that I can help out through this journey, certainly let me know. Happy whenever I can. But all the best. I'm exhausted, but it's certainly worth it, and I'm pretty sure the same will be in your case.
We're so excited, and congratulations. I can't wait to see pictures and hear stories.